An unexpected visitor. The night sky above New Eden Colony blazed with unfamiliar constellations, a constant reminder to its inhabitants that they were no longer on Earth. Dr. Samantha Chen stood on the observation deck of the colony's central hub, her dark eyes fixed on the horizon where 3 moons hung low, their pale light casting long shadows across the alien landscape. As the colony's lead xenobiologist, Samantha had been one of the first to set foot on this distant world. 2 years into their mission, New Eden was thriving, a testament to human perseverance and adaptability. Yet despite their successes, an undercurrent of unease ran through the colony. They were alone in the vastness of space, cut off from Earth and any hope of rescue should things go wrong. A sudden flash in the sky caught Samantha's attention. At first, she dismissed it as a meteor, but as the light grew brighter and larger, her heart began to race. This was no natural phenomenon. "Control, this is Dr. Chen," she said into her comm unit, struggling to keep her voice steady. "We have an unidentified object entering the atmosphere, possible ship or probe. Request immediate analysis and colony-wide alert." The response was immediate. Alarms blared across the settlement as colonists rushed to their designated safe zones. Samantha watched, transfixed, as the object, now clearly some kind of spacecraft, descended towards the colony's outskirts in a controlled landing. Colonel Marcus Rees, head of colony security, burst onto the observation deck, his weathered face set in grim determination. "Dr. Chen, what are we dealing with?" Samantha shook her head, unable to tear her eyes away from the sleek, silvery craft that now rested on the rocky plain just beyond the colony's force field. "Unknown, sir, but it's definitely not one of ours." "First contact," Marcus muttered, a mix of awe and apprehension in his voice. "We've trained for this, but I never thought." Their conversation was cut short as a hatch on the alien vessel slid open with a soft hiss. A figure emerged, tall, slender, and unmistakably not human. Its skin shimmered with an iridescent quality that seemed to shift colors in the moonlight. Large, almond-shaped eyes dominated a face that was at once familiar and utterly alien. Samantha felt a rush of excitement mingled with fear. This was the moment every xenobiologist dreamed of, yet the reality of it was almost overwhelming. She turned to Marcus, her eyes wide. "Sir, request permission to join the welcome party." Marcus hesitated, his hand resting on the holstered weapon at his hip. "Negative, Doctor. We don't know their intentions. I can't risk." "With all due respect, Colonel," Samantha interrupted, her voice firm, "if they meant us harm, they could have attacked from orbit. They chose to land and make contact. We need to reciprocate that gesture of trust, and we need someone out there who can communicate effectively." After a tense moment, Marcus nodded. "All right, Dr. Chen, but you'll be accompanied by a security detail, and at the first sign of trouble, you pull back." "Understood." "Understood, sir. Thank you." As they made their way to the airlock, Samantha's mind raced with possibilities. What language would the aliens speak? What cultural norms would they need to navigate? The years of protocols and first contact scenarios she had studied now seemed woefully inadequate in the face of reality. The airlock cycled, and Samantha stepped out onto the alien soil, flanked by 4 armed security officers. The cool night air carried unfamiliar scents, the planet's unique flora mixing with an odd metallic tang that seemed to emanate from the alien craft. As they approached, the alien visitor took a step forward. Up close, Samantha could see that what she had mistaken for clothing was actually part of the being's body, a semi-translucent exoskeleton that pulsed with bioluminescent patterns. The alien raised a hand in what seemed to be a gesture of greeting. Then, to Samantha's astonishment, it spoke, not in any language she recognized, but in clear, accentless English. "Greetings, humans of New Eden Colony. I am Zarkol, emissary of the Galactic Confederation. We have been observing your settlement for some time, and we believe you are ready for official first contact." Samantha's scientific training warred with her shock. How did this being know their language? How long had they been watched? She swallowed hard, forcing herself to focus on the monumental task at hand. "Welcome, Zarkol," she said, her voice steadier than she felt. "I am Dr. Samantha Chen, xenobiologist for New Eden Colony. We were honored by your visit." Zarkol's head tilted in what might have been curiosity. "Dr. Chen, your colony's achievements have not gone unnoticed. Establishing a thriving settlement on an alien world, adapting to its unique challenges, these are no small feats. The Confederation is intrigued by humanity's potential." A surge of pride welled up in Samantha's chest. Humanity had faced extinction on Earth, forced to look to the stars for survival. New Eden was their chance at a fresh start, and now, it seemed, their ticket to a larger galactic community. "We have much to learn from each other," Samantha said, her scientific curiosity overcoming her initial trepidation. "Your technology, your knowledge of the galaxy, it must be vast compared to ours." Zarkol made a sound that might have been a chuckle. "Indeed, Dr. Chen, but do not underestimate what humanity has to offer. Your adaptability, your drive to explore and understand, these are rare and valuable traits in the cosmos." As they spoke, more colonists had gathered at the edge of the settlement, their faces a mix of wonder and apprehension. Samantha knew that this moment would change everything, not just for New Eden, but for all of humanity. "Zarkol," she said, straightening her shoulders, "on behalf of New Eden Colony and all of humanity, we welcome you and look forward to peaceful exchange and cooperation." The alien emissary's bioluminescent patterns shifted, creating a hypnotic display. "I am pleased to hear that, Dr. Chen, but I must warn you, the galaxy is a complex and often dangerous place. Humanity's emergence on the galactic stage will not go unnoticed, and not all species share the Confederation's optimism about your potential." A chill ran down Samantha's spine. "What do you mean?" Zarkol's large eyes seemed to bore into her. "There are those who see emerging species as a threat, Dr. Chen. They would rather eliminate potential rivals before they can gain a foothold. My presence here is not just an act of diplomacy, it is a calculated risk." Samantha's mind reeled at the implications. They had thought themselves alone in the universe, only to discover they were standing on the edge of a vast, complex galactic society, one that might not entirely welcome their presence. "Then why take the risk?" she asked. "Why make contact now?" "Because," Zarkol said, its voice taking on a grave tone, "we believe humanity may be key to facing a threat that looms over us all. You have qualities that our oldest and most advanced species lack, qualities we desperately need." As the weight of Zarkol's words settled over her, Samantha realized that New Eden Colony stood at a crossroads of cosmic proportions. The decisions they made in the coming days would shape not just their own future, but potentially that of the entire galaxy. "What kind of threat?" she asked, steeling herself for the answer. Zarkol's bioluminescent patterns darkened. "That, Dr. Chen, is a discussion best had with your full leadership. Suffice it to say, humanity's penchant for overcoming impossible odds may soon be put to the ultimate test." As they walked towards the colony's central hub, Samantha's mind buzzed with equal parts excitement and trepidation. First contact had been made, but it was clear that this was just the beginning of a journey that would challenge everything they thought they knew about their place in the universe. The moons of New Eden cast long shadows before them, and somewhere in the vast expanse of space, unseen forces were moving. Humanity had taken its first steps onto the galactic stage. Now they would have to prove they deserved to stay there. Learning alien ways. The following days at New Eden Colony were a whirlwind of activity. News of Zarkol's arrival spread like wildfire, and the once orderly settlement now buzzed with a mixture of excitement and apprehension. Dr. Samantha Chen found herself at the center of it all, acting as the primary liaison between the colonists and their alien visitor. In the colony's main conference room, Samantha sat across from Zarkol, their latest cultural exchange session in full swing. The room's walls were lined with curious onlookers, scientists, engineers, and colony leadership, all eager to glean whatever knowledge they could from the alien emissary. "So, Zarkal," Samantha began, her tablet poised to take notes, "you mentioned that the Galactic Confederation consists of over 1,000 different species. How do you manage communication and cultural differences on such a vast scale?" Zarkal's bioluminescent patterns shifted in what Samantha had come to recognize as a sign of contemplation. "An excellent question, Dr. Chen. The Confederation relies on a combination of advanced translation technology and rigorous diplomatic training. But more importantly, we've learned that understanding often comes from shared experiences rather than mere words." As if to demonstrate, Zarkal reached into a pouch that seemed to materialize from its exoskeleton. It pulled out a small crystalline object that pulsed with an inner light. "This," Zarkal explained, "is what we call a memory crystal. It allows for the direct sharing of experiences and emotions between individuals, bypassing the limitations of verbal communication." A murmur of amazement rippled through the room. Samantha leaned forward, her scientific curiosity piqued. "That's incredible. How does it work?" "The crystal acts as a conduit for neural impulses," Zarkal said, holding the object out for her to examine. "When two beings make contact with it simultaneously, it creates a temporary psychic link, allowing for a deep, instantaneous exchange of thoughts and memories." Samantha hesitated, her hand hovering near the crystal. "Is it safe for humans?" Zarkal's patterns pulsed reassuringly. "Quite safe. The crystal adapts to the neural patterns of the users. It cannot transmit more information than your mind is capable of processing." Taking a deep breath, Samantha nodded. "All right, I'll try it." As her fingers touched the smooth surface of the crystal, Samantha gasped. Her vision blurred, and suddenly she was awash in a sea of alien memories and sensations. She saw glimpses of Zarkal's homeworld, a planet of shimmering crystal spires and impossibly graceful beings gliding through luminescent clouds. She felt the exhilaration of faster-than-light travel, the wonder of witnessing the birth of a star, the profound sense of unity that came from being part of a vast intergalactic community. When the connection broke, Samantha found herself breathless, tears streaming down her face. The experience had been overwhelming, beautiful, and utterly transformative. "That was incredible," she managed, her voice shaky. Zarkal's patterns rippled with what seemed to be satisfaction. "And now you understand, Dr. Chen, why we value such exchanges. They allow for a level of empathy and understanding that no amount of verbal explanation could achieve." As Samantha composed herself, Colonel Marcus Reeves stepped forward, his expression a mix of awe and concern. "This technology, it could revolutionize our own communication methods. But I have to ask, what safeguards are in place to prevent misuse? The potential for espionage or manipulation seems significant." Zarkal turned its attention to the Colonel. "A valid concern, Colonel Reeves. The crystals are attuned to their users and can only be activated voluntarily. Moreover, they are designed to share experiences, not to extract information against one's will. In the Confederation, the misuse of such technology is considered one of the gravest crimes." Marcus nodded, seemingly satisfied for the moment, but Samantha could see the wheels turning in his mind. The implications of this technology, both its potential benefits and risks, were enormous. As the session continued, Samantha found her mind returning to Zarkal's warning about threats to emerging species. "Zarkal," she said, steering the conversation in a new direction, "you mentioned before that not all species in the galaxy would welcome humanity's emergence. Can you tell us more about the political landscape we're entering?" Zarkal's patterns dimmed slightly. "The galactic political arena is complex, Dr. Chen. While the Confederation promotes peace and cooperation, there are other factions with different agendas. Some see new species as potential rivals for resources or influence. Others have more extreme views." "What kind of extreme views?" Marcus pressed, his military training evident in his focused gaze. There are those who believe that their species alone has the right to dominion over the galaxy, Zarkol explained. They see the emergence of new, potentially powerful species as a threat to their imagined destiny. These factions are a minority, but a dangerous one. A tense silence fell over the room. The enormity of what they were facing began to sink in. Humanity had dreamed of finding life among the stars, but the reality was far more complex and potentially far more dangerous than they had imagined. Samantha broke the silence, her voice filled with determination. Then we need to be prepared. Zarkol, what can you tell us about our potential allies and adversaries in the Confederation? What steps can we take to protect ourselves while also proving our worth as a species? Zarkol's patterns brightened, seeming to approve of her proactive approach. Your eagerness to learn and adapt is precisely why the Confederation sees potential in humanity. Very well, let us discuss galactic politics and diplomacy in more detail. For the next several hours, Zarkol outlined the major players in the galactic arena, the ancient and enigmatic elders, revered for their wisdom, the militaristic Krax Imperium, always looking to expand their territory, the synthetics, a collective of artificial intelligences with inscrutable motives. As Samantha took notes, her mind raced with the implications. Humanity was stepping onto a stage that had been set for millennia, with alliances, rivalries, and conflicts that spanned the cosmos. They would need to navigate this complex web carefully if they hoped to survive and thrive. There is one more thing you should know, Zarkol said as the session drew to a close. The Confederation's decision to make contact with your colony was not unanimous. There are those who believe humanity is not yet ready for the challenges that lie ahead. Your actions in the coming cycles will be closely watched and judged. Marcus straightened, a hint of defiance in his voice. We faced extinction before and survived. Whatever challenges the galaxy has in store, we'll meet them head-on. Zarkol's patterns rippled in what might have been approval. That spirit, Colonel Rees, is exactly what caught our attention. But remember, in the galactic arena, brute force is rarely the answer. You'll need to be cunning, adaptable, and willing to forge alliances. As the meeting adjourned, Samantha found herself lost in thought. The universe had suddenly become so much larger, so much more complex. But with that complexity came opportunity, a chance for humanity to prove itself on the grandest stage imaginable. She caught up with Marcus as he was leaving the conference room. Colonel, we need to start preparing. Not just militarily, but diplomatically, scientifically. We need to show the Confederation and the rest of the galaxy what humanity is truly capable of. Marcus nodded, his expression grave but determined. Agreed, Doctor. Assemble a team, our best and brightest. We're going to need every advantage we can get. As they parted ways, Samantha felt a mix of excitement and trepidation. The path ahead was uncertain, fraught with danger, but also filled with unimaginable possibilities. Humanity had taken its first steps into a larger universe. Now it was time to show the galaxy what they were made of. Little did they know, forces were already in motion that would test their resolve sooner than anyone could have anticipated. The true challenge was just beginning, proving human worth. The weeks following Zarkol's arrival had transformed New Eden colony. What was once a quiet outpost of human civilization had become a hive of activity, with every colonist working tirelessly to prepare for humanity's debut on the galactic stage. Dr. Samantha Chen stood in the newly constructed Galactic Affairs Center, surrounded by holographic displays showing star charts, alien species profiles, and diplomatic protocols. Her team of scientists, linguists, and cultural experts worked around the clock, absorbing as much information as Zarkol was willing to share. Dr. Chen called out Dr. Aidan Foster, the colony's chief engineer. You need to see this. Samantha hurried over to Aidan's workstation, where a complex schematic rotated slowly in the air. What am I looking at? Aidan's eyes gleamed with excitement. It's a modified version of our atmospheric processors. I've incorporated some of the principles from Zarkol's terraforming technology. If my calculations are correct, this could accelerate our terraforming efforts by decades. Samantha's heart raced. This was exactly the kind of innovation they needed to showcase. Excellent work, Aiden. Prepare a presentation. We'll want to show this to the Confederation representatives. As if on cue, Samantha's comm unit chimed. It was Colonel Reeves. Dr. Chen, we've got a situation. Report to the command center immediately. Samantha's stomach tightened as she rushed to the colony's nerve center. When she arrived, she found Marcus and Zarkol engaged in intense discussion. "What's going on?" she asked, slightly out of breath. Marcus turned to her, his face grim. "We've received a transmission from a Krax battle fleet. They're demanding we evacuate the planet immediately." Zarkol's bioluminescent patterns pulsed rapidly, a sign of agitation. The Krax Imperium claims this sector of space as their territory. They view your presence here as an incursion. Samantha's mind raced. "But we've been here for 2 years. Why are they only acting now?" "Your colony was small, isolated," Zarkol explained. "But now that you've made contact with the Confederation, you've become a threat in their eyes." Marcus slammed his fist on the console. "We're not leaving. This is our home now." Samantha placed a calming hand on his arm. "How much time do we have?" "The Krax fleet will arrive in 3 standard rotations," Zarkol said. "Confederation peacekeeping forces have been alerted, but they are constrained by diplomatic protocols. They cannot intervene directly without risking a larger conflict." The gravity of the situation settled over the room. They were alone, facing an advanced alien armada with technology far beyond their own. Samantha took a deep breath, forcing herself to think rationally. "Okay, we need options. Marcus, what's our military capability?" The colonel shook his head. "Minimal. We've got some defensive weaponry, but nothing that could stand up to a spacefaring battle fleet." "Then we don't fight," Samantha said, an idea forming. "We negotiate." Both Marcus and Zarkol looked at her skeptically. "The Krax respect strength," Zarkol cautioned. "They are not known for their diplomacy." Samantha's eyes blazed with determination. "Then we'll show them our strength, not through weapons, but through our ingenuity." "Zarkol, you said the Confederation values species that can bring unique solutions to galactic problems, right?" The alien emissary's patterns shifted in what might have been curiosity. "That is correct." "Then that's what we'll do," Samantha said. She turned to Marcus. "Colonel, I need you to gather every scientist, engineer, and problem solver in the colony. We're going to show the Krax and the Confederation exactly what humanity is capable of." For the next 2 days, New Eden Colony became a crucible of human innovation. Sleep was forgotten as teams worked around the clock, combining their knowledge with the glimpses of advanced technology Zarkol had shared. Aiden's team refined the atmospheric processor design, pushing it to theoretical limits. The agricultural division, led by Dr. Maya Patel, developed a revolutionary method of crop cultivation that could thrive in even the harshest environments. In the medical lab, Dr. Jin Park made a breakthrough in using modified memory crystal technology for rapid healing. As the deadline approached, Samantha stood before the assembled colonists, her heart pounding but her voice steady. "The Krax fleet will be here in hours," she said. "They expect to find a weak, primitive species ready to be bullied off their world. Instead, they're going to find humanity at its best, innovative, adaptable, and unbreakable. Each of you knows your role. Let's show the galaxy what we're made of." As the colonists dispersed to their stations, Zarkol approached Samantha. "Your plan is unorthodox, Dr. Chen. The Kralax are not easily impressed." Samantha managed a smile. "Then we'll just have to be impressive." Hours later, the sky above New Eden lit up as the Krax fleet entered orbit. Massive ships, their hulls bristling with weaponry, cast shadows over the colony. A harsh, guttural voice boomed through the colony's communication systems. "Humans of New Eden, this is Supreme Commander Grokthar of the Krax Imperium. You have one planetary rotation to evacuate this world or face annihilation. Samantha stepped up to the comm unit, her voice unwavering. Supreme Commander Grokfar, I am Dr. Samantha Chen of New Eden Colony. We respectfully decline your request to evacuate. Instead, we invite you to send a delegation to our world. We believe we have something that will interest the mighty Krax Imperium. There was a long, tense silence. Samantha could feel the eyes of every colonist upon her, their hopes riding on this gamble. Finally, Grokfar's voice returned, tinged with what might have been amusement. You have courage, human. Very well. We will hear your proposal. But be warned, if this is a trick, your entire species will pay the price. As the communication cut off, Marcus turned to Samantha. I hope you know what you're doing, Doctor. Samantha nodded, her expression resolute. So do I, Colonel. So do I. The next few hours were a flurry of activity as the colony prepared to receive the Krax delegation. As the alien shuttle descended towards the landing pad, Samantha stood at the forefront of the welcoming committee, flanked by Marcus, Zarkol, and the colony's top scientists. The shuttle's doors hissed open, revealing Supreme Commander Grokfar, a towering reptilian figure clad in ornate battle armor. His yellow eyes surveyed the assembled humans with a mixture of disdain and curiosity. Speak quickly, humans, Grokfar rumbled. My patience wears thin. Samantha stepped forward, her voice clear and confident. Supreme Commander, we understand that the Krax Imperium values strength and conquest. But we believe true strength lies in adaptation and problem-solving. We'd like to show you how humanity can be a valuable asset to the Imperium, rather than a rival. Grokfar's eyes narrowed, but he made a gesture for her to continue. Over the next several hours, Samantha and her team presented their innovations. They demonstrated the enhanced atmospheric processes capable of terraforming inhospitable worlds in a fraction of the time. They showed off the resilient crops that could flourish in environments the Kralax had long considered uninhabitable. The medical breakthroughs drew particular interest from the Krax scientists accompanying Grokfar. As the presentations concluded, Samantha faced the Supreme Commander. This is just a fraction of what humanity is capable of. Imagine what we could accomplish as allies rather than enemies. Grokfar was silent for a long moment, his expression unreadable. The tension in the room was palpable. Finally, he spoke. Impressive, Dr. Chen. Your species has potential. Perhaps there is more to strength than mere firepower. He turned to his advisors, conferring in low, guttural tones. Samantha held her breath, acutely aware that the fate of not just New Eden, but possibly all of humanity, hung in the balance. Grokfar faced them once more. We'll withdraw our fleet. The Krax Imperium recognizes New Eden Colony's right to this world on one condition. You will share your innovations with us, and a permanent Krax delegation will remain here to oversee our new alliance. Samantha exhaled slowly, relief washing over her. It wasn't perfect, but it was a start. We accept your terms, Supreme Commander. We look forward to a productive partnership. As the Krax delegation prepared to depart, Zarkol approached Samantha, its patterns shimmering with what seemed to be admiration. You've done something remarkable here, Dr. Chen. Few species have ever managed to turn the Krax from a path of conquest. The Confederation will be most interested in this development. Samantha allowed herself a small smile. We're just getting started, Zarkol. Humanity has a lot more to show the galaxy. As she watched the Krax shuttle ascend into the sky, Samantha knew that this was only the beginning. They had passed their first major test, but greater challenges and opportunities lay ahead. The true adventure was just beginning. Facing a common threat. In the months following the Krax encounter, New Eden Colony had undergone a remarkable transformation. The settlement now bustled with a mix of human colonists, Krax delegates, and a growing number of alien visitors from across the Galactic Confederation. What had once been a lonely outpost of humanity had become a melting pot of interstellar cultures and ideas. Dr. Samantha Chen stood in the newly constructed Galactic Embassy, surrounded by holographic displays showing real-time updates from across known space. The room hummed with activity as human and alien diplomats worked side by side, navigating the complex web of galactic politics. Dr. Chen called out Liaison Officer Tarek, a young Kralax who had become one of Samantha's most trusted advisors. "We've received an urgent communication from the Confederation Council. They're requesting your presence at an emergency session." Samantha's brow furrowed. Emergency sessions of the Galactic Confederation were rare, typically called only in times of extreme crisis. Did they say what it's about? Tarek shook his head, his scaled skin reflecting the light of the holograms. No details were provided, but the message was tagged with the highest priority. "All right," Samantha nodded, her mind already racing with possibilities. "Inform Colonel Reeves and prepare the long-range shuttle. We leave in an hour." As Samantha made her way to the launch pad, she couldn't shake a feeling of unease. New Eden had made remarkable progress in establishing itself as a valuable member of the galactic community, but they were still newcomers on the cosmic stage. What crisis could be so severe that it required their input? The journey to the Confederation's central hub took several days, even with the advanced FTL drive gifted to them by their Kralax allies. Samantha spent the time reviewing diplomatic protocols and brushing up on the latest galactic news, determined to be as prepared as possible for whatever lay ahead. When they finally arrived at Nexus Prime, the massive space station that served as the seat of the Confederation government, Samantha was awestruck. The station was a marvel of engineering, a sprawling metropolis suspended in the void between stars, home to representatives from thousands of worlds. As they docked, they were greeted by Zarkol, whose luminescent patterns pulsed with an urgency Samantha had never seen before. "Dr. Chen, Colonel Reeves, thank you for coming so quickly," Zarkol said, leading them through the bustling corridors of the station. "The situation is grave." "What's happening, Zarkol?" Samantha asked, struggling to keep pace with the alien's long strides. "It's better if you see for yourself," Zarkol replied cryptically as they entered a vast circular chamber. The Confederation Council chamber was a sight to behold, with tiered seating stretching up hundreds of meters, each section filled with representatives from different species. At the center of the room, a massive holographic display flickered to life, showing a region of space Samantha didn't recognize. An elderly being, skin like polished obsidian and eyes that seemed to hold the wisdom of eons, stepped forward. "I am High Counselor Xylos of the Elders," it said, its voice resonating with power. "Dr. Chen, Colonel Reeves, we welcome you to this emergency session. What we are about to share with you is known only to a select few within the Confederation." The holographic display zoomed in, revealing a massive structure floating in the void, a construct of impossible scale and complexity. "This," Xylos continued, "is what we call the Omega Gate. It is an ancient artifact, predating even the eldest of our civilizations. For millennia, it has remained dormant, its purpose unknown. But now it has awakened." Samantha felt a chill run down her spine. Awakened? What does that mean? Xylos' expression grew grim. "The gate has begun emitting energy signatures unlike anything we've ever encountered. Our best scientists believe it may be a portal, a doorway to somewhere else, and something is coming through." The hologram shifted, showing grainy footage of something, vast, shadowy forms moving through a tear in space-time. Samantha's mind struggled to comprehend the scale and alien nature of what she was seeing. "We call them the Void Dancers," Zarkol explained, its patterns dim with foreboding. "They exist beyond normal space-time. Our weapons pass right through them, and they consume energy, all energy, including the very life force of entire worlds." A murmur of fear rippled through the chamber. Samantha's mind raced, trying to process the enormity of the threat. How do we stop them? High Councilor Xylos turned to face her, its ancient eyes filled with a mixture of hope and desperation. That, Dr. Chen, is why we have called you here. In the short time since your emergence on the galactic stage, humanity has displayed a remarkable ability to find solutions where others see only impossibilities. We need that innovation now more than ever. Colonel Reeves stepped forward, his military training evident in his stance. With all due respect, Counselor, we're newcomers to your technology. How can we possibly help against a threat that your most advanced civilizations can't handle? A new voice cut through the chamber, harsh, guttural, but tinged with reluctant respect. Because you think differently, human. Supreme Commander Grokthar of the Kryax strode into the center of the chamber, his battle armor gleaming under the lights. Your species faced extinction on your homeworld, yet you survived. You carved out a home on a hostile alien planet. You turned the Kryax Imperium from conquest to alliance with nothing but your wits. Perhaps your unconventional thinking is exactly what we need. Samantha's mind whirled with the implications. They were being asked to help save not just their colony, not just Earth, but the entire galaxy. The pressure was immense, but so was the opportunity. She took a deep breath, centering herself. We'll need all the information you have on the Void Dancers and the Omega Gate, and we'll need access to your most advanced research facilities. High Councilor Xylos nodded solemnly. You shall have whatever resources you require, but time is short. Our models predict that if the incursion is not stopped, the Void Dancers will consume a quarter of the galaxy within a standard solar cycle. As the gravity of the situation settled over the chamber, Samantha felt a steely resolve building within her. This was why humanity had looked to the stars, not just for survival, but for the chance to be part of something greater than themselves. She turned to Colonel Reeves, seeing the same determination reflected in his eyes. Looks like we've got work to do, Colonel. Let's show the galaxy what humanity is truly capable of. As they left the council chamber, followed by a mix of alien scientists and diplomats, Samantha knew that the real challenge was just beginning. The fate of countless worlds now rested on their shoulders. But if there was one thing humans excelled at, it was beating impossible odds. The race against time had begun, and the future of the galaxy hung in the balance. Human ingenuity shines. The next few weeks were a blur of frenetic activity. The Confederation had provided Samantha and her team with a state-of-the-art research facility aboard Nexus Prime. Scientists from a dozen different species worked around the clock, poring over data on the Void Dancers and the Omega Gate. Samantha stood at the center of it all, her eyes bloodshot from lack of sleep, but burning with determination. Holograms swirled around her, displaying complex equations and simulations of the Void Dancers' movements. It just doesn't make sense, she muttered, running a hand through her disheveled hair. How can they exist outside of normal space-time and still interact with our universe? Dr. Zaltek, a brilliant quantum physicist from a gaseous species, floated nearby. Perhaps we're approaching this from the wrong angle, Dr. Chen. We've been trying to understand the Void Dancers in terms of our physics. But what if the key lies in understanding the nature of the Omega Gate itself? Samantha's eyes widened as a spark of inspiration hit her. You're right. We've been so focused on the threat that we've neglected the source. The gate is the key. It's not just a portal, it's a bridge between realities. She turned to Colonel Reeves, who had been overseeing the military preparations. Marcus, remember how we dealt with the Kryax? We didn't try to match their strength, we offered them something new. Marcus nodded slowly, beginning to see where she was going. You think we can do the same with the Void Dancers? Offer them an alternative to consuming our reality? Exactly, Samantha said, her excitement building. But to do that, we need to understand their reality. And for that, we need to study the gate up close. The plan was risky, bordering on insane. But with time running out and more worlds falling to the Void Dancers each day, the Confederation Council reluctantly agreed. A joint task force was assembled, the most advanced Confederation ship, crewed by the brightest minds from across the galaxy, including a core team from New Eden. As they approached the Omega Gate, Samantha felt a mix of awe and terror. The structure was even more imposing up close, an impossibly vast ring of unknown material, pulsing with ethereal energy. "Energy readings are off the charts," reported Tarek, who had insisted on joining the mission. "The gate's output has increased by 200% since we entered the system." Samantha nodded grimly. "They know we're here. Initiate the shielding protocol." A shimmering field enveloped their ship, a combination of Crack's defense technology and modifications based on Samantha's theories about the nature of the Void Dancers. It was their only protection against the otherworldly entities that swirled around the gate. With picking up a massive energy surge, called out one of the sensor operators, "Something's coming through." The view screen lit up with a sight that defied description. Vast, shadowy forms phased into existence, their bodies seeming to bend and twist reality itself. The Void Dancers had arrived. "Hold position," Samantha ordered, her voice steady despite the fear gripping her heart. "Initiate the resonance pulse." A beam of carefully modulated energy shot out from the ship, striking the surface of the Omega Gate. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the impossible occurred. The gate's energy patterns shifted, aligning with the pulse from the ship. A new portal began to form, different from the tear the Void Dancers were emerging from. "It's working," Samantha exclaimed. "The gate is responding to our input. We're creating a bridge to a reality compatible with the Void Dancers, but one that doesn't require them to consume ours." The Void Dancers paused in their advance, seeming to sense the change. Slowly, almost curiously, one of the entities approached the new portal. "They're responding to the harmonic frequencies," Dr. Zaltek observed. "It's as if we're communicating with them on a fundamental level." Samantha held her breath as the first Void Dancer passed through the new portal. Then another followed, and another. Gradually, the swarm of otherworldly beings began to shift, drawn to the reality that resonated with their very essence. Hours passed in tense silence as the Void Dancers continued to migrate through the new portal. Finally, the last of the entities disappeared, leaving behind only the softly pulsing Omega Gate. A cheer erupted throughout the ship. They had done it, faced an incomprehensible threat, and found a solution not through force, but through understanding and innovation. As the euphoria of victory washed over her, Samantha felt a hand on her shoulder. She turned to see Colonel Reeves, a rare smile on his face. "You did it, Sam," he said softly. "You saved us all." Samantha shook her head. "We did it, Marcus. All of us working together, human and alien alike." Landing in New York City, where the United Nations had gathered for this historic moment, Samantha took a deep breath before stepping out to address the leaders of Earth. "People of Earth," she began, her voice carried across the globe, "I bring you greetings from the stars. Today, we take our place as full members of a vast, incredible galactic community. The road ahead will not be easy, but it promises wonders beyond our wildest dreams." As she spoke, holographic images displayed the marvels of the galaxy, the sprawling metropolis of Nexus Prime, the shimmering beauty of Zarkol's homeworld, the awe-inspiring Omega Gate. Earth's leaders listened in rapt attention, their faces a mix of wonder and determination. "We have been given an incredible opportunity," Samantha continued, "to explore, to learn, to grow in ways we never thought possible. But more than that, we have the chance to share the best of humanity with the universe, our creativity, our resilience, our unwavering spirit of discovery." She gestured to the alien delegates who had accompanied her, Zarkol, Tarek, and representatives from a dozen other worlds. "These are our new neighbors, our new friends. Together, we will write the next chapter of not just human history, but galactic history." As her speech concluded, the assembly hall erupted in applause. Earth was ready to embrace its new role in the cosmos. In the months that followed, the changes were swift and dramatic. The first alien embassies opened on Earth, while human diplomats traveled to distant worlds. The interstellar exploration and diplomatic corps attracted the brightest minds from across the galaxy, all united in their quest for knowledge and understanding. 1 year after the Void Dancer crisis, Samantha stood on the observation deck of Nexus Prime, watching as a new class of recruits arrived for training, humans working alongside beings from 100 different worlds. Colonel Rees joined her, looking out at the star-filled expanse. "Did you ever imagine it would turn out like this?" he asked. Samantha shook her head, smiling. "Never in my wildest dreams. But that's the beauty of it, isn't it? The universe is full of possibilities we can't even imagine." As they watched a ship prepare to depart for its first mission through the Omega Gate, Samantha felt a sense of profound optimism. Humanity had faced extinction and emerged stronger. They had proven themselves on the galactic stage and found their place among the stars. Whatever challenges lay ahead, whatever wonders waited to be discovered, Samantha knew one thing for certain: the greatest adventure in human history was just beginning, and she couldn't wait to see where it would lead them next. The end. As their ship began the journey back to Nexus Prime, Samantha knew that everything had changed. Humanity had proven itself on the grandest stage imaginable, not through military might or advanced technology, but through their unique ability to think outside the box and bring people together. The Void Dancers were gone, but the Omega Gate remained, a reminder of the vast mysteries still waiting to be explored, and now humanity would be at the forefront of that exploration. As she looked out at the star-filled expanse, Samantha felt a sense of excitement and purpose she had never known before. The galaxy was vast and full of wonders, and humanity's journey was just beginning. Bridging two worlds. The return to Nexus Prime was met with jubilation unlike anything the Galactic Confederation had ever seen. Species that had been at odds for millennia came together to celebrate their shared victory. Humanity, once a newcomer on the galactic stage, was now being hailed as the saviors of the known universe. As Samantha stepped off the ship, she was greeted by a sea of alien faces, all cheering and expressing their gratitude in a cacophony of languages. High Counselor Xylos approached, its ancient eyes twinkling with a mix of relief and admiration. "Dr. Chen," it said, its voice carrying across the docking bay, "you and your team have accomplished the impossible. The Confederation owes you a debt that can never be repaid." Samantha smiled, feeling both proud and humbled. "Thank you, Counselor, but this victory belongs to all of us. It was the combined knowledge and efforts of every species that made this possible." Rockfar stepped forward, his imposing figure drawing attention. "The human speaks truth," he rumbled. "Today we are not Kryax or human or Xerian. Today we are all one people, guardians of the galaxy." The following days were a whirlwind of debriefings, celebrations, and planning sessions. The Omega Gate, no longer a threat, had become the galaxy's most valuable scientific resource. Samantha found herself at the center of a new initiative to study the gate and explore the possibilities it presented. In a quiet moment between meetings, Zarkol approached Samantha. "Your actions have changed the course of galactic history, Dr. Chen, but I sense this is just the beginning for humanity." Samantha nodded, her mind already racing with new ideas. "You're right, Zarkol. The gate isn't just a doorway to other realities. It's a symbol of what we can achieve when we work together. I think it's time we took the next step." Weeks later, Samantha stood before the Galactic Confederation Council, her heart pounding but her voice steady as she presented her proposal. "Members of the Council, honored representatives," she began, "the crisis with the Void Dancers showed us two things: the incredible potential of cooperation between our species and the vast unknowns that still exist in our universe. I propose we establish a new organization, the Interstellar Exploration and Diplomatic Corps." Murmurs rippled through the chamber as Samantha continued. "This organization will be open to all species, dedicated to pushing the boundaries of our knowledge and fostering understanding between different cultures and realities. The Omega Gate will be our gateway to new discoveries, new allies, and new challenges that we'll face together." As she outlined her vision, Samantha could see the excitement building in the eyes of the council members. The idea of a truly united galactic community working together to explore the cosmos resonated deeply with beings from across the stars. High Councillor Xylo stood, its voice ringing out. Dr. Chen's proposal is bold, but these are bold times. All in favor. The chamber erupted in a chorus of agreements, each species expressing their approval in their own unique way. It was unanimous. The interstellar exploration and diplomatic course would become a reality. As the council session adjourned, Samantha found herself surrounded by her team, human and alien alike. Colonel Rees clapped her on the shoulder, grinning broadly. "Looks like we've got our work cut out for us, Doctor," he said. "Any idea where we start?" Samantha's eyes sparkled with excitement. "We start by going home, Marcus. It's time Earth joined the galactic community properly." The journey back to Earth was filled with anticipation. As their ship entered the solar system, Samantha marveled at how much had changed. The lonely blue marble that had once been humanity's entire world now seemed like just the beginning.